2012, he captured the caucuses.
Yeah.
You did the same on the Republican side, obviously, in 2008. He was 2012. Dr. Ben Carson seems to be occupying a lane that both of you found for your path to victory in the Iowa caucuses. Very specifically, do you think Dr. Ben Carson, who's never so much has been elected to a school board, is capable of walking in, taking the oath of office, and leading this country?
Well, look, I love Ben Carson. He's a great man. He and his wife Candy are friends of mine, and you know, he's one of the most brilliant people in our country. But I have a hard time imagining that a person having never governed, never being the chief executive of anything, would find it being at home, walking into the Oval Office and for the first time taking that kind of job, not just that job, but even that kind of job. And is he smart? You bet he is. Would I support him if he's the president? Of course I would. Do I like him? Yes. Do I think I'm better prepared to be president? If I didn't, I wouldn't be running. And of course I do. And I do believe that there is a level of preparation and experience and judgment and maturity that I bring to this race that is unique. And again, if I didn't think that, I'd look around the stage and say, let's find the best one. I think we have one. Nominate me.
Your thoughts on the CNBC debate the other night?
Well, I thought it was a dishonest betrayal of the candidates on the part of CNBC, because they had promised us a couple of things. Number one, they promised us that it would focus on serious issues related to the economy, jobs, the debt, things that matter to every American. They broke that promise. They also promised that the time would be fairly and evenly distributed. They even bragged about having these algorithms that they were going to employ to make sure that everybody was getting an equal amount of time. That didn't turn out to be the case. They utterly lied about that. And then, quite frankly, they said that they would manage the debate flow and keep everything even, and they let it get totally out of their control. It was an absolute train wreck, and they're responsible for that. And the candidates running for president should never be subjected to that kind of foolishness again. It really was, I think, a disrespectful way to treat the entire Republican population of America, because we weren't standing on that stage for their entertainment purposes. We weren't there for them to hold us in contempt and to treat us as actors and pawns in their theater. We were there to give serious answers to serious questions, and they failed to provide the serious questions.
Governor, you know the Clintons as well as anybody, as you referenced in
Yes.
there. What's the worst thing in your estimation that would happen to this country if Bill Clinton is back in the White House?
Well, I think we need to be prepared. If you liked the last soon-to-be 8 years under Obama, just realize you would have a third Obama term under Hillary. She is far more ideological than her husband, who tended to be a bit more pragmatic because he had been a governor and he understood that you had to make things work. She's an ideological person, much more so, and will be more like Obama than she would her husband. And if you want to compare the two, just remember that I think her style of governing would be much more like Obama. But here's something that ought to scare every American. A lot of the networks and news pundits said that last week in her appearance before the Benghazi Committee that she looked presidential. But what we learned was that she lied, not just to the American people, but specifically she lied to the families of the 4 murdered Americans. Now, if that made her look presidential, then I guess the new criteria for being presidential is to be a liar.
Governor, you're in a very Catholic county right now, historically Catholic, strong pro-life county. That considered, if your position on abortion prevails and abortion is once again criminalized, what do you think the penalty should be for a woman who obtains an abortion or a physician who performs one?
Well, the penalty shouldn't be upon the woman. In most every case, the woman having an abortion is also a victim. She's either been talked into it by her friend, her boyfriend, her mother, her grandmother, but I don't think you help the situation by punishing her more. But what we need to do is to treat every child, every human being with respect and dignity. The one thing that sets me apart in terms of how I would deal with the abortion question, nobody else is willing to recognize that the Constitution doesn't have to be amended to end abortion. We just have to obey it and follow it. Because under the Fifth Amendment, no person can be deprived of life or liberty apart from due process. And under the 14th Amendment, everybody is entitled to equal protection. The fact is, if the unborn child is a person, then the constitutional prescription is already in place. Protect that unborn child because it's a person.
At the
Thank
Jefferson
you,
Jackson.
guys. We got to go.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
One more.
Real quick, and then I've got to get in the car and head out.
Gun control. At the Jefferson Jackson Day dinner, the 3 Democratic candidates for president that are left
Yeah.
all made very, very strong pitches for gun control. They came from a very urban-centric place. Do you see this as an issue that the party has a real opportunity to open up in rural areas?
Well, not just in rural areas, but you know, if a person lives in an urban area, they know that if they're the victim of a crime, they're dependent solely on waiting until the police get there to rescue them. As I've often said, I've got a concealed carry, my wife does. God help the poor sucker that breaks into my house at 2 in the morning. Because I tell you this, I'm going to still call 911, but I'm not calling to helplessly wait until the police get there. I'll call 911 to tell the police where to come pick up the body of the idiot who tried to break into my house. Thank you. Appreciate you all being here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.